Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you the top 5 sniper rifles in Borderlands 4 and showing you where to farm them. Now there's a lot of really good sniper rifles in this game, so I'm going to start off with some honorable mention as there's some interesting ones that just play a little bit different here. So obviously order guns are a bit strange in how they work in Borderlands 4, requiring you to charge them up just like this. So our first 4 honorable mentions will be the Extolled Fisheye here, which is an order gun. And also another order gun here is the Symmetry. What this one does interestingly is it fires from your reserve ammunition while you're charging it up. The Affinity XXXL here. I thought about including this in my top 5, but I don't think it works just as well as some of the rest on this list. Then we also got the Stopgap here, which I started off with, which will increase your damage upwards of 750%. However, it makes your fire rate go down quite a bit. So some of these, like this one here, is able to charge up your damage, which is quite nice. Here's the one that gives you the ability to fire while it's charging up. So whenever you first aim down, it's going to shoot 5 quick times, and then you can release that with that burst there. Now this one runs out of bullets really quickly. That's the unfortunate part about order guns. And the Affinity XXL, which is really good because when it's overheating, it lets you actually keep firing the gun. So this is great if you're finding your gun running low on your overall bullets. But unfortunately it is a fire-based weapon, so that can bring some additional issues into the mix here. But the nice thing is once you're overheating, you can just keep shooting this infinitely even though you don't have ammunition. And our final 2 honorable mentions will be the Boom Slang here, which can give you, it has exploding rounds, it has decent damage, and it can ricochet its projectiles, and whenever it does ricochet, it actually shoots a sticky projectile to 3 nearby enemies. So it actually has some pretty decent output in damage. And our last honorable mention is the Asher's Rise, which has a 100% chance of inflicting its status on an enemy instead of having increased critical hit damage. And here's the Boom Slang. I just found that its damage output is super low. Even on Vex with like a good build, you do have to use the critical hit knife to actually get some usage out of it. Because whenever you shoot that there, it's going to ricochet those projectiles around. But the projectiles don't hit too hard. I mean, this is still a decent enough weapon, all things considered. It's just not going to be as strong as some of the others. And here's the status effect gun, which is really cool looking, but it's mainly there just to apply statuses and doesn't do a massive amount of damage. So that's why I'm not going to have this one higher on the list either. So for our number 5 best sniper rifle in the game is the Truck here. Now, this gun hits like a truck. It has a triple critical hit modifier. And on top of all, this is a Jacob's gun, meaning it can ricochet around to multiple enemies. And with certain enhancements here that allows you to give additional ricochets, this damage can be pretty crazy. So it does come with a variety of different roles that you can get on it. I got the multi-loader here, allowing us to use assault rifle ammunition, and it will explode into grenades whenever you throw it. Now, this gun reminds me of like the Intervention from Call of Duty. It's got that bolt action rifle there, and then you throw it there. That's just one of the rolls that I got on it. But the damage on this is absurd. It also has a pretty decent scope on it too, so that's another nice thing. So you can pop heads with it pretty quick and easy. But the damage from this is absurd, and that's what makes it so good. I think a lot of people are underrating this, because if you don't realize that the critical hit modifier is tripled, you'd think it just is a terrible gun. But getting all the extra bonuses applied to it as well. So if you have a critical hit build, and there's actually quite a few critically hit bonus damage builds in a lot of different skill trees. So there's actually a lot of characters that can make a lot of use out of this. Obviously the critical hit knife making this literally a like one-shot machine. It's crazy damage, and it can roll with a lot of fun different things on it. I think that this gun is in essence a real sniper rifle, and that's why I think it's so good. I don't have the Jacobs on this character, but the ability to ricochet additional projectiles to enemies just gives you a further increased overall output of damage. And you can see there, it just does a lot of good. So yeah, the Truck hits like a truck. And to get your own Truck sniper rifle, we actually have to go to the Biothresher Omega here, so that's going to be where you farm this. In 4th place, we have the Complex Root. This is an interesting one, Maliwan, one of my favorite brands. It gives you the choice of 2 different elemental damage types. This one I got is Radiation and Corrosive, and then I also have one here, which is Cryo and Shock. But the beautiful thing about this is it'll create diverging projectiles along its path when you fire it. There's a couple guns here that'll do this, and they kind of make them feel like real snipers because you're more incentivized to be further away. You can also get the Ripper License magazine here, or a Cov License magazine. I also got Hyperion shields on this, so you can get a variety of different rolls on it. But what I think works best, so this one here, we got the, I guess, the frost damage on here. Whenever you shoot it, you can kind of see it, but it will project, the little projectiles there branch off. So that can give you a huge boost to DPS there. And depending on the build that you got set up, mine is more so kinetic-based damage, so I'm not obviously getting a huge benefit out of that, but yeah, you can do some pretty crazy things with it, just giving yourself that extra amount of projectiles around there. I'll go with something a little bit more better because they all have armor on, but yeah, you can do some pretty crazy stuff with this. This one here requires me to hold down the button to be able to charge it up here, but it can shoot a lot more ammunition. You can see the damage is pretty decent, all things considered. If you zoom in, it's going to actually give you that spread a little bit sooner too, so you're almost incentivized to always be aiming down sights with this. Otherwise, it does make this a little bit harder to land because those extra projectiles won't be spreading around as much, but yeah, you can do some pretty fun stuff with this one. I should have been using the corrosive there, but yeah, at closer ranges, it's not going to be as good. Much like another sniper that we'll be covering here, they kind of excel at longer ranges, and I think that's exactly what obviously sniper should be for. Against large bosses, though, this gun is an absolute shredder, and the fact that you can get so many different elemental choices on it is great. But you can see there, even against targets at close-ish range, you're pretty much in a bad position here because your damage is not going to be as high because you don't have those extra projectiles, and there's no ability to get the Jacob's Lace accessory on this, so that obviously does lower your overall damage output with it. But it's a fun weapon, and I think a cool one for a variety of different builds, especially if you can play with friends and get a bit further long range abilities going off, because then you'll be able to really take advantage of this gun, as it does require you to be a bit further away from the enemy. But you can see there, the reloads really quickly, and then with this magazine here being pretty large in size, you can fire this for a very long time, despite it having to be at a very long range to get the most maximum amount of damage out. It's still a pretty fun one overall. And to farm the complex route, we just have to go over to the Mimicron boss fight, and you can repeat this an infinite amount of times, and it's actually really close to a safe house, so this is a fun and easy one to farm. And our third place weapon here is the Borstal Ballista here, which does function similarly to the complex route, but I think it's better. You can see there the damage numbers are much higher, but I think the projectiles just work a lot better on this one as well, and you can get it rolled with an additional shotgun on the underbarrel, which is a pretty decent boost to overall damage. But where this one does differ is the way that it shoots. So with this gun here, you can see that, actually it's kind of hard to see it, but you're going to have a spiral that shoots off from this gun. So whenever you fire this off at enemies, you obviously get a bigger benefit if you fire from far away. So you can see this here. It has that spiral pattern that comes out of the gun. It actually is pretty crazy overall with the damage that you can do from this, especially at a longer range. And again, this really shines if we can get far away from a boss and then be able to hit multiple projectiles off it. Even crazier, obviously, with the critical hit knife being able to proc additional critical hits off on them. But this gun really does benefit from being far away. Now, I have a pretty good build for this, actually, with using Vex's Trouble there, who's not always the best, but they can hold aggro for you if you're playing solo. So that allows you to actually utilize this gun. We're not getting the biggest benefit. There we go. We got a little bit of a better benefit, because you do have to be at a long range to be able to get that extra swirling bullet to be able to hit the enemy multiple times. But the other good thing about this gun is it's a Jacob's Lace. It's a Jacob's gun in general. It doesn't have the Lace accessory, so it's going to be able to chain around to multiple enemies, which is just a really nice bonus on top of all the extra damage that you're going to be doing with this. So yeah, this is the true sniper rifle. If you can get headshots with it, it cooks. Otherwise, you're still going to do some pretty good damage. But obviously, if you got the ability to get the critical hit knife, that really does boost up the damage there, as you can see. So yeah, it's pretty strong. Now, I'm trying to keep it spoiler free, but the Upper Dominion boss that you fight the end of the game is where you can get this from. So yeah, the final boss is the way to farm this weapon. Now for our second best sniper rifle, we have the Stray. This gun is actually really crazy good. It has high DPS there. It shoots multiple bullets that home in on nearby targets. Now, sniper rifles are great, but if you miss your shot, that's a huge loss to your damage, unlike an SMG that just shoots really quickly. This is where this comes in, because you don't miss your shots. And this also can come with Jacob's Lace and accessories. I wouldn't recommend going with this without it, but it's still a decent gun, all things considered, because with this gun, you can just aim down you don't even have to aim down your sights. You just run around and shoot. You can see the bullets there coming out from the side, so you don't even have to pay attention to the bosses. You can be scrolling on your phone. You can watch my YouTube videos and just run around farming bosses, just because it's able to aim down sights really well. And then obviously with a critical hit knife and those repeating bullets around, it becomes extremely powerful very quickly. So yeah, the fact that the bullets will home in on enemies is nuts alone, because that just gives you a whole new level of forgiveness. This is kind of like the dad gun, I guess, because yeah, this is for people that just want to have a fun time playing the game and not have to think too much about how they're playing, how they're aiming, if they just want to relax after a long day at work. But even still, this is good for pro gamers, because you're not going to hit 100% of your shots. So this can be great because you are going to hit your shots with this. And yeah, it doesn't require you to do too much hard work in terms of gaming. So that's why it's not going in the first place. And there's actually one that's a little bit higher in damage. But what's great about this is its kinetic-based damage as well. So Vex can get her blood shots off on it, especially if you have a class mod that lets you get that additional damage, as like the Undead Eye here, which It's a 45% sniper rifle and kinetic damage boost, and this will also, whenever you kill an enemy with a sniper rifle, get blood shots, which do even further damage. This makes any of the kinetic ones like the Borderlands Ballista and the Stray very strong. As Ripper guns, I don't love Ripper guns to be honest, but this is the by far probably best Ripper gun in the game, just because that auto aim is just absurdly good. Just lays down a ton of damage. It's a fun gun to use, and it can enable a lot of other builds too. So yeah, this works on any character as well. The Stray is just an absolute powerhouse of a gun. And to get a Stray of your own, we have to go fight Pango Bango here, which is on the left-hand section of the map. So yeah, you can farm him for this Stray sniper. Now for our best sniper rifle in the game, it is the Katagawa's Revenge here. Now, if you play Borderlands 3, you'll know that in Katagawa, this is essentially his two guns that he drops in Borderlands 3 combined into one powerhouse of a gun. And the reason this is so good, it's just absurd on a lot of builds. So you can actually get this one with a Jacob's Lace and accessory. It's impossible to find, but I finally found one. It does 50% less damage, but the big thing is it's going to chain these around, and it has a special property. So when you fire shots at an enemy, if you have the shock one there, it's going to release these little jellyfish that shock the enemy. And if you have it on the fire version, it's going to drop little exploding ones. The fire ones aren't that great. They're okay. They're okay. It's the shock ones, which enable so many different builds in this game because they count as you firing your gun at an enemy. So like the Riddle Me This ability, which gives you plus 50% damage every time you shoot a gun, will give you near infinite stacks immediately, just because these all count as gunshots. Now, where this becomes absurd, Harlowe can make this one-shot any boss in the game because she has in her red skill tree the neutron capture ability that applies 4% of her action skill damage onto her gunshots. These little jellyfish count. So yeah, with her skill there, she's going to be draining boss really, really quickly because you do 4% of your gun damage with 3 of these applying it multiple times. It's absurd. The damage from this also is really great if you use Harlowe's infinite crit build, because with that, she can just essentially shoot that and it's going to melt bosses as well. So yeah, with this, if you got a critical hit grenade, you're going to be able to chain those around to multiple enemies, but you can even just see alone, this is the least optimized build that I could possibly throw together for it. I could show it on a optimized build, but it melts bosses so quickly, it's almost no point. I have some videos on Harlowe's red skill tree build, so you can check that out if you want to see it actually melt bosses in seconds. But that's because it adds the action skill damage onto this. And this is, again, the least optimized I could possibly show it. It probably doesn't look that amazing here, but it's just the fact that this will proc multiple damage riders on different things. So these little jellyfish, again, are the big reason that this gun is so good. And here's an example of Harlowe using her action skill with the Katagawa's Revenge, activating it. This is in Ultimate Vault Hunter 5, as mentioned, and there's the boss going down almost immediately. In Ultimate Vault Hunter 5, yeah, you shred pretty much every single boss. I guess there's a better crop of it showing that it is in Ultimate Vault Hunter 5. Yeah, melts the boss. This isn't even the best roll for it either. If you get one with Harlowe with the Jacob's Lace and accessory, you can say goodbye to pretty much every boss of the game. And this also works on pretty much every character's builds. It works great with Rafa, it works great with Amon, it works great with Vex. And that boss you saw me farming is actually where you farm this from. It's going to be the driller hole here, which you just have to run through into this area. It's actually pretty quick to get there, and the boss is the fastest boss you can refresh. So if you're looking to farm, this is probably the best one, and it's also a big encore for this week. So there you have it, the top 5 sniper rifles in Borderlands 4. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I think all of these have a very great way of making the game unique in its own. So let me know your thoughts. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and I hope you have a great day.